On today's episode, we're going to talk about air cleaning, how to keep your air in your house clean, exterior cleaning, how that actually coordinates with that, and we're going to break that down right now. The Educated Homeowner, Know Your Home Like a Pro, brought to you by A New Day Construction, where every day is a new day. All right, so I'm here with Burtis Dally today with Heavily Healthy Homes, which I'm partner of too. So I'm blessed to have him as a partner. So we want to talk to you today about, what are we going to talk about today?
We're going to talk about exterior cleaning, duct cleaning, pressure washing, soft washing, and really anything to get your property healthy. And that's what we specialize in.
And our hope is to educate you through this process too, because pressure cleaning is not just pressure cleaning. People talk about pressure washing, and what we try to do is not do it without pressure. And we'll talk about that because pressure will actually damage stuff, and we don't want to do that.
Absolutely.
So yeah, if you're looking for any house cleaning, and as you go through this, we'll pop his number back up. We'll also put a link up above here with his contact information. So if you're looking for any kind of exterior cleaning, and then we do roof cleaning, siding cleaning,
fences, retaining walls, stone, any concrete. Right. Anything that will grow algae or mold or mildew, we can remove it from that surface. And
then we'll step inside the house and clean the inside of your house, because all that stuff gets brought into your house through your systems. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into it. So we just want to dive into each aspect of it. We'll talk about the pros and cons. That way you as a homeowner can be educated. And when somebody shows up wants to pressure wash your house, you can say, whoa, what is pressure? What are you doing about that? All right, so first things first, let's dive into roof cleaning.
Yes.
So if you hadn't seen this video, that's the gruesome twosome. So that's me. That's with me. That's what I look like with hair. But actually, Heavily Healthy Homes got sprung out of this, and our concept is basically, finding those spores, finding that mold and mildew, both exterior and interior, and really cleaning that stuff up. So if you see this commercial floating around, it'll give you a good laugh. So check it out on Facebook, social media, like that. But all right, let's get into roof cleaning. So roof cleaning, a lot of people think we got to get on the roof.
Right.
We don't get on the roof.
No, absolutely not.
We're scared of heights, right?
I am scared of heights.
So we're not getting on the roof. Plus, for your liability, and if you got anybody crawling your roof, first things first, you need to make sure they're covered. Make sure they have the proper insurance. That's a dangerous area to be, especially when you're cleaning it because it's wet. And so when you're dealing with wet shingles, then you're looking at more potential problems.
Absolutely.
So if you got a cleaner, if you got a pressure washer guy that comes out, he's in his truck, he says, hey, I'm going to jump on your roof. Be careful, because if they fall on your property, they could come after you. So just be careful with that. So let's talk about soft cleaning the roof. So flip back to that roof again. This is some of your report. We'll talk about in a second. So explain this, break this down for us, how it works, what the soft cleaning is, what it does to the shingles, and how it brings them to life.
Yes, sir, absolutely. So soft washing, we still use pressure, but it's not directed at it. So it's a high volume, low pressure coming out.
A lot of product coming out.
Correct. Got a lot of product, a lot of water, a lot of chemical, whatever you need to get that off of the surface. So for this instance right here, for the roof, we have a sodium hypochlorite and water mixture. Basically for a roof, anywhere between 3 to 6%, and we spray it on the roof. You can start from the top or the bottom, just it's kind of a personal preference, or depending on the pitch of the roof. But on this one particular, we started at the top and worked our way down. And basically all those black streaks you see right there is just algae. Algae from rain, from shade, from humidity, from just the years of exposure to weather.
Is it harmful to the roof?
Yes, actually it helps. When we clean it, it helps it protect it longer. So the algae actually deteriorates the shingle and the oils that are mixture in that helps it stay on the roof.
All right, so that makes sense. So basically what he's breaking down here is, you probably see this a lot.
Absolutely.
Black streaks on the house. Sometimes they're even black in this. Go to that other slide where we're all together and kind of talk about that. Because this, it's big before and after here, as you can see. That's, you may have thought that's a black roof, but it's not. And it's this what it's like when it's clean. So you can imagine all that algae just sitting there. What it does, it eats the limestone in your shingles, and that's why you have all those granular parts in your shingles.
Yep.
In your gutters, I'm talking about. And so, making sure that's off. Actually, you have insurance companies now that are denying claims. I don't know if you know that.
Absolutely.
We talked about that.
Absolutely.
So so now we have insurance companies stepping in and going, you need to clean your roof, or we're going to cancel your insurance.
Yep.
Because they know that a lot of roofs are being covered by hail damage, stuff like that. But they know if this algae is on there, it's eating at their shingles, it's going to make it worse.
Yep.
So taking a proactive approach.
Correct.
Now you talk about chemical-wise. Let's talk about chemicals. I know they're biodegradable.
Yes.
But we use the word sodium, what'd you call it?
Sodium hypochlorite.
All right, and which is?
Fancy word for bleach.
All right.
Yep.
So a lot of people say, "Oh, bleach it's messed up," but it's actually a biodegradable.
Correct.
So when it breaks down,
correct. And a lot of issues that customers are aware, like they have questions on, is you see these bushes around the home. That's what they're mainly worried about when we spray that bleach. They don't want their bushes dying. They don't want their grass dying. They don't want anything dying around their yard. They've worked hard for their yard. So what we do is, before we start spraying, we actually pre-treat everything. We water down the house, we water down the porch, whatever is there that can potentially get bleach on it that we're not there to clean, we rinse everything down. And then there's also another step you can go for like super fragile plants. You can have a bleach neutralizer, excuse me, and you spray that on there, and then bleach won't even affect it, even if it does get on it.
So you pre-treat everything.
Yep.
What about the gutters? What happens when the stuff's coming down?
So like we were saying earlier with the pitch of the roof, some low pitch you won't have that much of runoff, but on a high pitch you'll have a lot of runoff. And what we'll do is we will take off your downspout and put a container there to collect all the runoff, and then we dump it safely off the job.
So clean your roof is a must. So you
and we can do shingles and metal. So yeah, okay. Absolutely.
Well, good. All right, I think we covered roofs, so let's talk about siding. Siding's kind of a, but it needs to be cleaned.
Absolutely.
It's not a glorified conversation you talk about.
Yeah.
But there is a difference between pressure washing. So I do want to break this down. So, everybody knows what a pressure washer is, and that's the term that we use in the industry. Hey, did you get a pressure washing company come out? Yeah. But most pressure washing companies are moved to soft wash.
Correct.
Which is basically, like you said, to get a large volume of solution spread on the siding. And it pretty much, the chemicals take care of the cleaning.
Yep.
Instead of having a high pressure, because if you high pressure on a vinyl siding house,
it's going to destroy it.
It's going to destroy it. Even on the Hardy planks.
Right. It can peel paint. It can knock the paint off.
I mean, some of them 0-degree pressure washers can cut skin. You got to make sure you got the right company, and making sure you ask them questions. Just don't say, hey, you don't clean my house, and just they're just pressure washing it. Be careful, because pressure washing can damage your house, and you want to know it. And you'll see a lot of times, you see a lot of lines. I think you've seen that too, where that sharp point just cuts into things.
Yep. You got to have the right tool for the right surface.
Right.
That's what I've learned in this industry.
So you do fences also, I see.
Yeah.
Decks and fences.
Decks, fences. We do any exterior surface.
All right. Tell us about your deck cleaning product. I know there's a product for
Yes. Yeah. There's a product for natural wood to remove all of that stuff off of there. So it is algae and mold, and you can spray bleach on it, but bleach doesn't react well to natural wood. Okay. So there's a product called Wood Wizard that we use that restores the natural tannins in the wood and removes all the algae, grime, and everything off of it. And actually, it won't make it look brand new, but it'll restore the life back to it to new as possible. So it makes it stain ready, makes it paint ready, or whatever you want to do to it, or seal ready, whatever you want to do.
So most fences are grayed out.
Yeah, absolutely.
So graying is, and if it's gray, it can still look like that.
Absolutely.
I know you don't think it, but you'll blow your mind.
Absolutely.
That if you have a weathered gray fence and you want to bring that thing back to life, call him. Come out there, it'll blow your mind. And then from there, you can stain it and bring your fence back to life again.
Absolutely, and that's any wood product.
Yeah, any wood. So don't think it's over. Don't think I need a new fence.
Right.
You just need to clean your fence.
Absolutely.
And get all that algae and growth off there. Now let's talk about concrete. Concrete's a big one, because it seems like it's indestructible, but it's not.
Right.
You can actually, that layer on the top of the concrete, you can pressure wash that off.
Absolutely.
Too much pressure.
Absolutely, especially old concrete too. The older the concrete, the more fragile that top layer becomes. So you got to be really careful.
So it's good to chemically treat that first.
Yep, we pre-treat everything. So we get there to the job, and it's a big driveway. We'll bring out the sodium hypochlorite, the bleach, and we'll use about a 3% mixture, depending on how dirty it is. Like this right here, we'd only use about a 1.5%. That wasn't that dirty, but on something that's like he's talking about, that's gray or black after years and years and years of
dirty buildup.
Yeah, dirty buildup, then we'll crank up that percentage. But we'll pre-treat it. We'll use our big surface cleaner, kind of like a lawnmower, go back and forth, and then after we're done, we'll post-treat it with another mixture of bleach and let that sit so it kind of eats away at all that's left.
Yeah, and that helps keep those.
You get those stripes,
swirl lines, and
the swirls or the stripes.
It looks like somebody pressure washed your driveway, kind of, sort of.
Yeah, and there is a new technique out there that because you'll see those lines in those driveways sometimes, and so the new technique is, once you do your first line, then you come back and you do like a circle method backwards, and then you do a line again and circle method, and then it kind of blends those lines together.
Kind of like wax off,
wax on, wax off. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I like it.
Yes, sir.
All right, so I think that concludes. Now, before I move on to the inside, because the inside's very important.
Very important.
So my understanding, with every service you offer, what do they get?
They get a free trash can clean every service.
So basically, nice clean trash
Yeah,
cans.
we'll clean that trash can out. We'll spray some bleach in it, then rinse it all out, make sure it's dry out. We'll have our air compressor air it all out, make sure there's no water left, and just have a brand new clean trash can.
All right, so get that. Any service, whether it's a driveway cleaning, gutter cleaning. We do
Gutter cleaning, fence clean, any of those, we offer a free trash can clean.
Right, so clean trash can, make it smell fresh again. Now, let's step into the inside. That's where the most important part. That's what we're breathing in. This really comes into play, and we're going to break it down because there's so many different ways they do it out there. There's some that'll damage your duct, there's some that don't damage your duct, and so we'll talk about that. The most important thing I want to talk about before we get to that is the importance of clean air and who lived in your house before you lived there.
Yeah, that's really important.
That's the big thing. You know, we buy a house and we go, now we're living in their dander. We're living in maybe their dog dander, anything.
Maybe they smoked inside before.
Yeah, there's all kind of stuff that is there before you got there. And it's even worse when it gets in new construction. You may think, oh, new construction homes, I'm clean. No, because most of the time during construction, a lot of dust and debris gets shoved out in the bins and never gets cleaned out. So making sure that's in there, because when you drop that stuff in there, you're breathing that stuff in. So it's blowing through your house, you're breathing in. So if you're dealing with asthma, any kind of allergies or anything like that, that could be why.
Correct.
Especially if you've just moved into a house, all of a sudden you're noticing like, I feel like I'm stuffy all the time. What's going on? It could be just bad air. So let's talk about air and how it gets clean. I know there's different methods, and let's talk about your method.
Well, there's two methods. Both use a sense of air and brushing, right? But one way is the roto brush, which is really made for hard ducts.
Right.
It's a big old circular brush, and it's powered by air, and it spins, so it goes through your ductwork and spins, and it either pushes all out to the furnace or you pull it all out, whichever method you want to use there. And the second method is you use an air compressor with a smaller hose, and you have different attachments. So those attachments is actually what cleans the inside of your ducts, and these are more designed for the residential side or the soft ductwork. So
do we have that video?
Yes, perfect.
All right,
perfect.
So as you can see, so it's got little whips.
Yep, it's got plastic whips on it, and it literally it's going out about 200 psi, and it whips everything off of the side of the ductwork and pulls it back. And normally we have a cover on the front, so it doesn't get back into the house. But for the video purposes, that was just showing that right there. And then after the whip gets done, we take a bullet, which has a 45-degree backwards pull on it, and we shove that back all the way to the furnace and pull all the debris that just knocked off into our double HEPA vacuum filter, so nothing gets back into the home.
Cool. And then if we're doing that, what do you do at each register? That's at the return.
Right.
And go back to the other screen. Let's talk about that. Don't mind. Somewhere.
Yeah, you got returns and you got
that's your return. So in case you don't know, your bigger vent in your house is your return vent.
Correct.
That's where all the air gets sucked in.
Yep.
And then it distributes back out. So
Correct.
That's where most your debris is going to be is inside there.
Right. Yeah, most of the time that return gets the dirtiest. And your vents are still dirty. They still have dust and debris and stuff in them, but the cake part you see right there, that's a problem. You know what I mean? You got to get that solved because like you said, you're breathing all that in. So we clean out your return, we clean out the vents, and we clean out the inside unit.
So when we talk about the return, you got the return that goes to the unit.
Right.
And at the unit, you have your filter you put in, and you typically change that out.
Yep.
Most people use the cheap one, which is fine, I guess.
If you want,
I wouldn't.
It's worth it to spend $20 more for a nice filter. Right. I will say that.
And so, but even at that, you're finding when you get out the home, there's still stuff in the registers. There's still stuff in the registers past that. It shouldn't be because that filter should catch it.
Right.
Sometimes we don't change our filters like we should. Sometimes some stuff's got dropped in there, but there's still a good amount of debris that comes out of the supply vents.
Absolutely.
All right, so you go through the house and you take down the supply vents. Take them all. What do you do with the supply vents?
So with the supply vents, all the vents we take down, take outside, clean them all off, rinse them down, and we spray a product on them that kind of sits on there and actually doesn't allow dust to build back up as easily. It still obviously will build back up, but it puts a little layer on there, a layer of protection on there, and we do that in the ducts as well.
Kind of like a slippery layer. Keep sticking. Okay,
yes, sir. Yeah, and it's just oregano, thyme, citrus, and like wintergreen oil. So it's all natural, completely biodegradable, completely organic substance. And I always ask customers too, because you never know with allergies. I always ask, hey, are you allergic to any of these things before I spray it in your home? Right. So, but it smells great, makes all your ducts smell great, and makes them clean too.
Right. All right, so that pretty much wraps it up. I know pressure washing or soft cleaning is not a glamorous topic to talk about.
Right.
It is for you. You love it.
It is. I love it. I enjoy it. I really do.
But I hope this video helps you guys understand a little bit about, what's the difference between pressure washing and soft cleaning. hopefully educated you on your roof to know what those black streaks are. And now, unfortunately, you're going to be noticing every roof that you're out there. It's kind of like now you heard it and seen it. You're like, oh, yeah, their roof. I can walk around our neighborhood and I ate up with them. I'm like, wow, I can't believe how many are like that. I never noticed them myself
I didn't either.
until I got into
Until I actually learned about what it was, I had no idea. And then now I'm driving, I'm like, I see them everywhere.
So let's go back. I want to pick your brain one time.
Okay.
So before we go, I want to talk about, see if we can get some pricing. And of course, I want to offer them a little bit of discount. Now, what areas, let's talk about what areas you work in first.
Yes. So our home base is Winder. And I like to say our outside of Winder, I'll go as far as Cumming, Gainesville, in that area. I'll go as far as Buford too as well. Lawrenceville, out towards that way, Duluth. I've even served Woodstock and Kennesaw. That's a little bit outside, but I'll go up to that area. Then as far as like Athens, I'll go out to Athens.
Perfect. Now, for you guys who are watching, you're going to offer a discount?
Yes, $50 off. If you mention this video that you watched it, we'll give you $50 off what you want for your home.
All right, now let's give some ballpark pricing.
Okay.
So if they have there's a house we showed earlier, you said a little ranch house. How much typically on a ranch?
Yeah, one single story ranch home, probably roof wash is about $500. Right. Just give or take, that's basis. Right, about $400 to $500 for the roof wash. Probably about $250 to $300 for the house wash, and then depending on the driveway, for a standard driveway, it's about $150 to $200. But if it's a big driveway, then I like to measure it and give you an accurate price. Standard driveway is about $150.
Right. Now, if somebody just calls you for a ballpark price,
I pull it up on Google Earth, and I'm able to give them a remote estimate.
Okay. So if you're just curious, give them a call.
Yeah, please do.
That way you strike the conversation. You can ask any question you want.
Absolutely. And if I don't answer, that means I'm busy. On the phone with another client. Please leave a voicemail or give me a text, and I'll get back with you as soon as possible.
All right. Well, Burgess, thank you so much.
Sure.
I'm excited about this business. I can't wait to see it take off. I know it's been doing very, very well.
Yes.
And we're servicing a need. So if you see the truck running around with this little science guy on there, that's us.
Yes, sir.
So Heavenly Healthy Home.
It's a mouthful.
Solution. Yeah, let's say it right.
But I love it.
Yep. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Again, I hope this helped. Thank you, Burgess.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Guys, we'll see you next week. Hey, and before I go, don't forget, there's a link around here somewhere to get that discount on some Sherwin-Williams paint. So if you're looking at getting our 50% discount, you're looking at painting your house, whether you're painting it yourself or you got a contractor painting it, you can use our discount. So check out that video and learn how to take advantage of that. All right, guys, we'll see you next week, and we'll be talking septic tanks next week.
Woo!
All right, guys, love you. We'll see you next week.